on the speakers, ayy. This shit feel nostalgic, ayy. Feel like I was Frank, ultra from the palette, ultra from the aura, ayy. Shine like ultraviolet, ayy. You should bag up from me, cause I tend to get violent.
It's the BSP my hero. And they say that my hero,
my he slash him.
Word. Inclusive of all pronouns on this podcast.
100%.
But, yeah, and they say that my hero will save us. So let's all just watch season 8. And as we are coming up with centralized questions. Me and Trav will take turns asking each other questions and also answering said questions because we have opinions on said too. But I do want to not switch up, but I want to compound on top of the question that I have for you to harken back to your question last week about do we feel that Shigaraki deserves a redemptive arc. Now knowing that All For One literally finger fucked his life and made everything that happened
I'm back.
to him.
I'm supporting Shigaraki.
There it is. Redeem that man.
Save Shigaraki, Deku.
Yeah, that was nuts, yo. Like that was nuts. That All For One, and you know what's so crazy? How All For One literally has been telling us since we've known him. Like one of his quirks is like that foresight quirk where he could just like map out all the avenues. So like, why I was still so shocked that this was a thing just goes to the writing of this show. Yo.
I mean, amazing, and then just seeing it from the vantage point of him and talking to Shigaraki's father through this whole time.
Or Grandma Momo got the
All For One
Nana. Not call her Momo. Nana Shimura. She got to have that moment, you know, to apologize to her son and everything, which is so crazy that I'm sure I knew in like my subconscious, but I had forgot that the reason why Nana like had kind of like quote unquote abandoned her family was because she went and died. Like All For One, like
against All For One.
Yeah, so it's just
it all comes back to All For One. That's what it all comes.
Comes back to All For One.
A lot of usage of the word all. So
yeah, big fact. So like that revelation was crazy. But you know, this isn't a review. We do this a bit differently. But so my question to you, Trav, is a bit of a compound question. It's a part 1, part 2 to it. So now knowing that All For One is going to be let me preface this with saying we got hit with one hell of a 52 fake out last week. I will say that me and you were both super duper gung ho with what my man named Tomura, what's his Shigaraki being like the big bad, like him being the villain, like All For One being All Might's ultimate nemesis, and then, you know, Shigaraki being Deku's ultimate nemesis. We were all gung-ho for that being what it was. Let Deku have his own moment to be immortalized, but we got 52 faked out, and it does seem that All For One is going to be the final kaiju big bad that Class 1A, I told you that was coming. I told you Class 1A would never let Deku do this by himself.
It would only be right that they all come back to save
absolutely
Deku and support.
So my compound question for you, good buddy Trav, is part A to said question. Does your heart hurt that they snatched that moment away from Bakugo? Because now him beating All For One all but relatively is a moot point because he did not necessarily beat All For One. So they Vegeta'd him in essence. So that would be part 1 to it. And then part 1B to that question is, are you as excited that All For One is the ultimate ending versus Shigaraki? Again, going back to the, you know, like that's All Might's villain that Deku has now inherited, as opposed to him assuming his own arch nemesis. So does your heart go out to Bakugo that he got Vegeta'd, and are you as excited, or has the excitement dropped a bit that All For One is ultimately going to be the ending villain for this show?
Well, my answer is going to be short and sweet, and I feel like you kind of answered yourself in the part B, but not at all. I think that the moment with Bakugo was still very necessary. It still had the same powerful impact upon Bakugo's growth and how he was able to accept the fact that, you know, Deku is his friend. All of his Class UA classmates, they're all his friends as well, and he wouldn't be there without them. It's not his story, it's our story. And so I think that moment was definitely needed for Bakugo. And then I think that honestly it makes sense that Deku and the gang are fighting All For One as the final boss, because like you said, they inherited All Might's beef And look, sometimes you got to bring in your young bulls to handle
YN
your work,
energy, baby.
you know. And you know, we've been seeing All For One built up. Honestly, All For One has been built up as like the boogeyman. And even though Shigaraki
fucking Naraku,
even though Shigaraki was like the main villain this whole time, it always felt like though All For One was lurking in the background and almost scheming in a way that, hey, look, I'm older and that I'm passing this torch off to Shigaraki, but at the same time, this shit's still mine. So I think it's poetic that they handle All Might's work so that he can just go off in the sunset and be proud about his students and how he was able to coach them up to this point. So I'm pleasantly thrilled with how we're going to where we're heading towards the ending of My Hero.
I love it. I love it. In a very rare instance, we are on opposite sides of the fence of this one.
Okay.
And I do believe that my Bakugo gripe is like my Vegeta stand-up, because again, like that moment was so beautifully capsulated in it. But you know what it is? My Bakugo heartbreak is directly only tied to the fact that All For One is the ultimate villain. Like those things, it's a false equivalency for the two of them. But it's like, for me, again, I've always had a vendetta against main character types in all shows. Usually the secondary character is usually always my favorite person. I don't know if I have a favorite character in My Hero, because we've talked about this. It like 1A is the main character. They're the main character as opposed to one person. But your bar about it being, you know, like our story, not my story, does move my, you know, goalpost a bit.
I have one more thing that could possibly also move it as well.
Oh yeah, for sure.
All For One says that what he did at the end was his last ditch effort. He was only going to use it if it was absolutely necessary. So Bakugo did push him to his final trump
That's
card.
a good point. That's a good
point.
point.
Without Bakugo, he would have just probably went to Shigaraki, took him over as a vessel, and didn't go to this extreme that he did right now. So, you know, I think Bakugo still was essential, even though he may not get the final kill of All For One.
And part of it, I'm a stick my stake in the ground for the sake of the episode, that I'm still not happy that All For One is the bad guy. But to your point, All Might, even though he's beat him, had never like put him away. So like essentially he never finished the job. Like All For One was in jail for a while. He had no face for a little bit. You know, was tied to was strapped to a chair. Yeah, exactly, 1000%. So yeah, having the kids be able to finish off his thing, which has kind of been like their legacy, I do see like the beauty in that. But again, like 1A, I feel like deserve to have like their own thing, like as opposed to inheriting All Might, because they've literally cleaned up UA's messes this for 8 years, for 8 years of our lives, 2 to 3 years of theirs. They've legit just been like, oh shit, we probably made some mistakes when we was out there on the streets, and we probably made some more mistakes as teachers. Can y'all fix this for us?
Yeah.
Like, and it's just like, damn, at what point do they get to like leave behind like their own thing? But I guess like fixing the big fuck up that all of UA's teachers had prior to is their thing. But I would have liked Shigaraki to have been the final villain, and UA have that 1A have that be their arch nemesis, and just like, you know, let the kids have something of their own instead of just cleaning up the teachers' messes over and over and over again.
And last thing, we still may see Shigaraki come back in some point.
Oh yeah, I think he's 1000% gonna.
And it would be interesting to see how what his involvement is in the final fight. But I'll just close this out for you. You know, maybe we can look at it this way. All Might was Goku. All For One is Frieza. He didn't finish him off. 1A is Future Trunks, and which is Vegeta's lineage, which is also my favorite Dragon Ball Z character. So, and they're going to be the ones to finish off All For One. So, boom, there y'all go.
Wow. Like and subscribe, YouTubers. Smash that like button. You know, the link tree might in the episode description below. All that fun shit. We are here, just like how Shigaraki was the big bad. We are here for a good time, not a long time. Later, nerds.
Justice for Shigaraki now.
Big facts. Redeem that man.
Save Shigaraki.